Hi folks, welcome to the channel and thanks for joining me. So today we're going to take a quick look at the JVC RC-250LB. Now we don't see too many of these about, and I was cleaning one up recently for my own collection and giving it a belt service and cleaning all the mechanism and all that kind of stuff. Now they are 40 odd years old and most of these do suffer with scratchy potentiometers and general sort of grime and what have you. So I cleaned one up just for posterity really, but I've also got 3 more in here that I'm going to let go, I think. So I'm going to service these and give them a nice clean, and I thought I'd share that with you today because you don't see too many of these about and they're not terribly complicated units, but it might be nice just to take a look inside, and we'll change a belt in one of them and clean the volume and tone pots and the switches and stuff like that. Clean the heads, just give it a decent clean. So what I'll do is I'm just going to run through these 3 off camera and decide which one might be the best candidate. Just something short and sweet for today, and join me as we have a look at this RC-250LB. So I've just had a look at those other units and I think this one will be a nice candidate actually. If we just take a quick look around it, it's all complete. So you can see there's no broken case on the back or anything like that. It's all intact. The battery compartment is present as well underneath, and the tabs are intact, so that's all good. All the knobs and switches are there and nothing's really fundamentally broken. Even the aerial tip is present. So we've got a good start here. Now my notes that I made way back when I put this into storage basically were about sort of scratchy pots and needing a tape service. So I think what we'll do is clean the pots, clean the switches inside, and probably change the belt and see if the give the idlers a bit of a service, clean the heads and capstan, pinch roller, all that sort of stuff, and hopefully that should do the job. Then a bit of a refresh on the outside just to give her a bit of a polish. So what we might just do now actually is just make sure that that is indeed the case. So if I just put this on to radio, right, okay, reception's okay. And just seeing what channels I can pick up, what stations. Yeah, I'm just scanning through really quick. There's a few in there, so we're okay with the radio. The rest of the wavelengths aren't, oh, you can hear that is pretty scratchy. I won't subject you to it because of the headphone users, that'll annoy you a bit. But yeah, basically that switch is going to need a clean inside. But the radio fundamentally is okay. Right, okay, so the tape player then. So if we just come down to here, if I press play. Okay, it's working on play. And stop, rewind. Yeah, that's dragging a bit. Fast forward, sorry, rewind was working okay. Fast forward is struggling. You can see it labouring and spinning up there. So I'm not even sure. I think it might be idler tyres on this. We'll see if we can refresh what's on there and clean up any polish that might be on the rubbers. And yeah, so anyway, listen, let's get on with this. Let's crack it open and see what we're up against. So the first thing we'll do is crack open the back case. Very easy on this particular model, actually. 4 screws. And we don't have to remove the knobs or anything like that either. We probably will do that today actually, just because we want to give them a decent clean. But if it's just a belt service, then that doesn't have to happen. Actually, this is one of the very easiest belts to access. It's like a personal stereo really, but it's actually quite tricky to change it once you get inside. You'll see what I mean in a moment. So we just pop the back case off. We'll disconnect the aerial from the board, and you'll see that the transformer and everything is actually inboard. So the back case comes away with the even with the battery cover on if required. Yeah, and that's all there is to it, just a single antenna line there. So we'll put that to one side. And then, as you can see, that leaves us with a fairly simple layout. You've got the 2 pots there, the volume and tone, obviously your ferrite rod antenna, radio board there, your switches for your wavelength selector, just there. and then your erase switch just there. So we'll clean all of those while we're inside. The belt itself, as I say, there it is. It's that easy to get to. The only problem is there is a slightly tricky little situation with a spring under there, but you'll see that shortly. So this particular belt was actually working quite well, to be honest. There is still some friction left on there. I may still change it, but I might do it just to show you how to do that. But really, we also want to get this cassette deck out today. So there are a few screws which are helpfully colour coded by the looks of it. Some blue screws, 1, 2, 3 and 4 for the mech. Now, I can see that things like the leaf switch contacts are soldered onto the switch on the deck, but also onto the board. Plus also the heads are soldered onto the board, but I'm hoping it looks on this particular one like we'll be able to unpick the cables and withdraw the deck and lay it on its side and get access to the other side to do the maintenance that we need to do there. All good. Okay then, so changing the belt on this is actually quite a simple operation. You just have to watch out for the tensioning spring. So there's one screw just there, and then we've got a little spring and indeed a washer. So if we be real careful, withdraw the spring. As I say, there is a small washer as well underneath, but that can stay in place. And all we need to do to replace the belt is unpick it like so and withdraw. As simple as that. So as I say, changing the belt on an RC-250 really is mega simple, and obviously refitting is a complete reversal of that procedure. The only issue you have is just trying to get the little spring back in, because it goes onto that little post with the washer, and you've got to compress it and feed it back under there as you line the screw through to screw it back down, which can be a bit tricky. So if you've got tiny little hands, you're in business, or good eyesight or decent tweezers, you'll be all right. So just be mindful about that, and that's all there is to that bit. But for now, I'm going to actually remove the deck because I want to take a look at the idler system. So I'll put that old belt to one side for a moment, and I'll just remove that washer from the base like so. And so then, to remove the deck, it shouldn't be too onerous a task, hopefully, he says. So here we go. So we've got some colour coded blue screws at the corners. So we've got one there which has a ground tag on it from the board, from the radio board. So we put that to one side. We have another screw here. They will all be the same size unless I say otherwise. I don't think anyone's been in here before. And so, right, let's do this. What I'm looking to do is basically lower the deck whilst withdrawing it. And just unpicking that after all. Ah, there we go. There's a cable tie there for the leaf switch. And then we've got the motor supply lead by the looks of it as well underneath. So we're just going to be a bit careful. Just be careful. These things are designed to come out after all. So as long as you're steady with it, we'll be all right. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this around, and you can now see the upside of the deck. And we're just going to be super careful with the tension on the cable, so don't give you very much leeway at all on this one. You can unpick them slightly here, so I'm just going to, I might just do that, but then that might give us a bit more play. Not a lot, to be honest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now put this onto a little platform just to protect it whilst we work on it. Okay, so the actual spindles are turning freely, which is good, obviously. Just give them a bit of a dust. So we know that the dragging issue isn't because of seized grease or anything like that. What I'm going to do quickly is just clean the heads. So just a bit of alcohol. And the capstan as well. Now we could, in theory, remove the whole flywheel, but actually this is kind of a bit of a quick and dirty job today. It's not too bad actually. Yeah, so you're going to get some ferrite deposit, of course, on the pinch roller, but it's not too bad really. And it's not too polished or deformed or anything like that, so just give that a wipe down. Good. I'm just going to put a little bit of rubber renew onto the idler rubber. It does look a little bit dry. And we're just going to clean up the surface on the spindle as well. Good. So a token little clean around here now. And we could go in and get some cutting compound and polish back some of this discoloration, but as I say, this one's a cheap and cheerful one today, so we're just gonna carry on now, put the belt on and get it back together. So we just pop the head cables back into their little cable ways down here. A, that keeps them out of the way so they don't snarl up in anything, and B, they act as nice little cable strain as well. So just got to remember which way round this came. And we're just checking that nothing's in each other's way. And also remember to keep the guide. We've got the earth guide there, the earth loop I should say, as well. So make sure all the cables are top side and not in the way. The eject door is open. So we now just slide this into there. As I say, check the cables are out of the way. And as simple as that, we are in. So, yep, and the eject mechanism works. So now all we've got to do is fix this back in, 4 screws, and then we'll clean the pots and switches and we'll be away. So we have the 4 screws to go back in. Have to say, I am a big fan of how well that JVC colour codes their screws, so you know which parts need to come out to release the radio board or the cassette mechanism. Very helpful. Clean the switches. A lot of these won't have been used in a long time, so just a tiny bit. We haven't got to go mad. And we just work in the switches to their full extent of movement. And put a tiny bit of lube in there as well. Good. There we go. So that's the switches cleaned and the potentiometers cleaned, and we've cleaned the heads. We've put some rubber renew on the idler, which we hope will help, and the rest of the mechanism works fine mechanically. So I'm not going to waste any time stripping all of this down, getting the grease out and re-lubing it. It's absolutely fine. So what we'll do now is just go ahead and get that new belt on, I think. Okay, so to get the belt on then, we literally slip this past the bearing. So we'll just try this for operation then now. Okay, nice. Okay, that all seems good, and the switch is all but silent now. That's it. So there's no crackle on the volume or tone pots. Everything's working nicely. So all that remains is to get this dastardly spring back in, which could take a while. Don't forget the washer as well. So what I tend to do though when I change the belts on these is actually weirdly don't put the belt on all the way first. We know that works, we've tested it and it's spinning, it's the right tension, but actually I find it gets in the way when you're trying to refit the spring. What I like to do is actually put this back together as it is, and then loop the belt back over afterwards. Now I've just had to turn it around because I'm left-handed and I find it easier to work that way around on this particular one. So come on. Yep, that's going in, and I think it's about 0.2 mil free float on this, so we just let this back out. I'm not going to use a feeler gauge, but we want it to just rock slightly in there like that. Perfect. Right, then we can put the belt back on. Yeah, it's funny really. It's, as I say, it's a very easy belt to get to, but just a slightly tricky one to put back on. But anyway, that's that. So we'll just try it again. Play. Perfect. Good. So with that, we'll get the back on. And just connect the antenna cable. Get these 4 screws back in. Good. Okay, so we'll have a cursory quick check at this. What the big issue for me here is good.
Oh, today savings on carpet.
Right, just going to try the tape real quick.
I'll make the supermarket tabloids. They'll write some.
Fast forward. Yep. Rewind. Perfect. Good. Right, so I'll give this a decent clean now. Polish up the aerial, remove the knobs, give everything a clean and a polish, and we'll come back with a final reveal in a moment. So here it is then, the JVC RC-250LB. Just a quick and dirty service really with this one. She wasn't terribly bad. All the knobs and switches were present. So we've just given her a bit of a clean. We've serviced the pots and the switches on the board. The fast forward and rewind were playing up on this. So we've serviced the idler mechanism on there as best we can with what we had anyway. So we've rubber renewed and cleaned the idler tyre and also the corresponding surfaces on the spindle bases. Also given the heads a clean. We've cleaned the capstan and indeed the pinch roller, and just generally give her a sort of good going over and you know, polish the aerial and stuff like that. So there she is. Let's have a quick look then. So here's the switch that was a bit scratchy, sorry, the volume part. So we'll turn that up now. And now you can see that's working perfectly. There's no crackle or anything like that. The tone, bass and treble, very responsive and no crackling on there. And also as we move across the switches there, you'll see the crackle and everything has gone as well. So there's the tape then. So we'll put that on now. Eject, nice strong eject mechanism, and we'll drop a tape in now and just press play.
Supermarket tabloids.
There we go. So that's the tape playing okay with the new belt on there. Now the problem we did have, of course, was that the fast forward and in particular rewind didn't work because of the bad idler system on there. So we'll just press fast forward now and you can see that's working perfectly, and stop rewind, and that's working well too, really fast. So play one more time. There we go, sorted. I can't play you anything much for copyright reasons. I will be making my own tape of copyright free music so we can give these a proper going over at some point soon. But in the meantime, anyway, there's the JVC RC-250LB. Quick and dirty service, but got you a chance at least to have a look inside one of these. So thanks very much for watching. Do please subscribe and hit the notifications bell for updates. We've got 8 tracks, we've got personal stereos, boomboxes, all sorts of stuff that we're working on. So do please come and check out the channel, see the other stuff that we've got on there, and it'd be great to hear what you think of this one in the comments. So do let me know, and I'll see you soon. All the best for now. Bye bye.